Hey there, friend. I hope this video finds you doing well and having an amazing day. I wanted to do a little video that was, funnily enough, brought about by me watching a movie the other day. And I'm a big fan of movies, not so much going to the theater. I like to watch a good flick at home from the comfort of my reclining chair. But you might be surprised to learn what one of my favorite movies is. The Lord of the Rings. And you might have thought it might be something else, a little bit more lighthearted, or perhaps a Marvel movie, which, don't get me wrong, I do love a good superhero movie. I mean, we all want to be the superhero in our lives, right? Like, especially for our families, keeping everybody safe and making sure that they're taken care of, helping them with problems, kind of like Wonder Woman. So strong, confident, and self-assured, able to handle anything that came her way. But that is really unrealistic for any of us, right? I mean, to be able to handle the ups and downs in life easily and without struggles along the way. So back to The Lord of the Rings. To be honest with you, I didn't anticipate liking these movies at all when they first came out. My husband is a huge Lord of the Rings fan and read all the books when he was a teenager and really wanted to see these movies. And of course, I was wanting to support him, have a night out at the movies, said, okay, yeah, I'll go along. But they really meant a lot to him. So imagine my surprise when I found myself at the end of that first movie saying, I have to wait a year to see what happens to Frodo. I was hooked and ended up going out and buying the books and reading them and became a huge fan of the movie series. And in looking back on it, I think maybe I identified with it so much because I think we're all a little bit like Frodo Baggins, a normal person living their lives until some problem arises that seems overwhelming or insurmountable. Like Frodo, we're left with two choices in those situations. We can either ignore the problem and hope that everything works out and somebody else takes care of it, or we can acknowledge that the problem is ours to solve and make the decision to take action, even if we don't know where to start. So how was it that Frodo was able to rid the world of evil by destroying the Ring of Power? By overcoming his fear, by having a plan, and by getting support along the way. He didn't make the journey alone. He had the Fellowship of the Ring. Trusted guides to help him navigate the treacherous path, get him back on track when he strayed, and to bolster his confidence in times of doubt. And this is what allowed Frodo to complete this task and allowing him to become the hero of the story. So you might be wondering, like, why am I talking about the Lord of the Rings? Well, it's because of the parallels between Frodo's journey and that for many of us who are faced with having a toddler who has a speech delay or developmental delay. It can seem really unsurmountable. So, like Frodo, we have to make a decision to either do nothing and hope that somehow things get better, or to take the challenge on. And I'm hoping that by now you've decided to take the challenge on. I've talked a lot about that in the last couple of videos that I've done. The question then becomes, how will you do it? Will you do it on your own? Will you seek the support of others, those who are familiar and experienced in this journey or the challenge that you face, those who will help keep you on track and give you the encouragement you need on those days where you really want to give up, those who know that you're the superhero in this story. And as I discussed in the last video, you need a map or a framework to follow. Without it, your journey will take more time and effort, and you'll likely experience more stress and frustration and overwhelm along the way, which is a surefire way to lose momentum on your goals. So if you've done the work so far of overcoming your fear, deciding on how you want to do this, and finding your framework, I want to give you some tips to help maintain a superhero mindset moving forward, because as I mentioned in my last video, there are going to be detours and roadblocks along the way. So having a superhero mindset will help you navigate these peaks and valleys, better enabling you to reach your final goal. And please understand, the mindset is crucial. There is actually research to prove that this is a necessary piece of this process. So, for example, research has shown that positive, growth-oriented parental mindset significantly impacts a child's development and learning abilities. Parents who believe in their child's potential to improve can foster a more supportive and enriching environment. There's also research that shows that developing a strong mindset helps parents to better manage stress, and it is stressful. We're worrying about our kids, as well as then to be able to bounce back from setbacks more effectively. And there will be setbacks. There will be pauses in their development on this journey to get to words. So the studies show that resilient parents are better equipped to handle the challenges of raising kids with developmental delays or just speech delays. So finally, the last bit of research I want to share is how a positive mindset fosters a warmer and more responsive parenting style. And this is important because it really enhances your parent-child relationship, and that leads to improved emotional and social outcomes for your kids. And finally, one more thing, the mindset is also working on a superhero mindset is also going to mean that you're going to be more likely to persist through those difficulties and remain committed to the path that you're on and moving forward. So this is crucial in achieving long-term developmental goals for your child. And bonus, your kids learn from observing you. So by maintaining a positive and resilient mindset, you are teaching your child coping strategies that they'll use down the road. So grab a pen and paper because I want to share my top tips to help with creating a superhero mindset. So first, celebrate small wins. Now, this can be a tough one for parents especially. I can't tell you how many times I've gone out on a home visit and asked a parent what's new or different from my last visit, only to have them say nothing. But then during the course of the visit, I noticed this and that and this that are all new since the last time I were overs. And I get it that it's sometimes hard if we're with a child 24/7 to see that growth. And that's why I encourage parents to become really excellent observers. And this is something that we have to train ourselves to do of their kids. When they really learn to tune in, they start to see these little things. And even the tiniest bit of progress is a step forward. So celebrating these small wins and victories help you to maintain momentum and stay the course and do loads to help keep you in a positive mindset. My favorite way to help parents with this is to have them keep a progress journal. Document every achievement, no matter how small, because then you can look back on those entries and remind yourself of the progress that you've made over time. I encourage you to use these 3 simple prompts daily. What went well with my child's communication today? What is something I did well today to support their communication? And what skills did I see from my child today? Write these down on a piece of paper with a Sharpie and hang it on the fridge. Then have a notebook nearby, and then you can write down your responses every single day. And then this really helps on those tough days where it feels like there's no change. You can go back to earlier entries, and it's a great reminder that your efforts are having an impact. Okay, so celebrate those small achievements, but you first got to learn how to tune in and catch them. Okay, next, I want you to work on setting realistic goals. And this is another important one. If, let's say, for example, your child is nonverbal and difficult to engage, they're just kind of off in their own world, having a goal of them using words within the next month or 2 is probably going to be challenging. So instead, break the goal down into something that's smaller and more manageable. For example, using this scenario, maybe having a goal that your child will do some back and forth play with you for 3 to 5 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day. This makes progress more noticeable and achievements more frequent. So you also want to make sure that you set an achievable goal for yourself, like concentrating on implementing one particular strategy during a routine every day rather than the end result. So consistent effort will eventually lead to progress. Okay, so the next tip is to seek support and encouragement. There is power in connecting with others facing similar challenges or who have been on the road ahead of you. That's why every single one of the programs that I have created over the years has a community component. I've seen firsthand how connection with others who are on that similar path can lift spirits and provide the needed encouragement to stay the course. So joining support groups or online communities of parents facing similar challenges and sharing experiences and advice can be incredibly uplifting, because let's be honest, having a child who is behind can feel really isolating, even with family members who are often trying to be helpful and comfort us by saying things like, they'll be fine, or you worry too much, or your brother didn't talk until he was 4 and he's just fine now. Their intentions are admirable. They're, of course, wanting us to feel better. But what they don't understand is that it often leaves us feeling unseen and unheard, and then we feel even more alone. So find a tribe that will support you, okay? It's really, really important and will really help you to stay the course and achieve those goals that you're setting for yourself and your child. Okay, now the next tip is going to sound really simplistic, and it's something that you hear all the time, but I cannot stress enough why you must do this, and that is practice self-care. I'm going to shout this one from the rooftops until parents finally understand that self-care is not a luxury, but a must. Studies have actually found that parents' mental health significantly impacts their parenting quality and their child's emotional and social development. And self-help care practices help you to manage stress, reduce burnout, and maintain the emotional resilience needed to effectively support your child's development, okay? So you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to find time every single day to rest and recharge. And I know I can hear you all saying, this is really hard. I've got kids. I got lots of things to do. But it truly needs to be your number one priority every single day. So sit down and figure out how you can make yourself a priority for at least a short time period every single day. And maybe you just start with 15 minutes. I understand the urge to get all the chores done while our kids take naps, but taking 15 minutes to do some stretches, grab a cat nap, or do a meditation is more important than folding laundry. I really want you to hear that. It is way more important. The chores will get done eventually, but you have to take advantage of opportunities to fill your well. And I'm going to tell you, cruising on social media and looking at reels does not fill your well. That is merely a distraction, and it doesn't do anything to help you feel recharged. So make sure whatever it is that you choose to do is something that fills your soul. If you love music, maybe you listen to a couple of your favorite songs and have a great playlist set up. If you love to read, set aside that 15 minutes to read a book that you really are enjoying. So taking care of your own well-being is crucial for sustained motivation. All right, so finally, the last tip is to stay flexible and adaptable. Understand that progress, especially when we're working on speech and language with young kids, is going to be non-linear. You got to be open to adjusting your strategies and expectations as needed. If something isn't working, don't be afraid to try a different method, ask for help, or seek some new resources, okay? So by implementing these tips, you can maintain motivation and resilience even on those challenging days, ensuring that you continue to support your child's speech development journey effectively. One of my favorite lines from the movie is, even the smallest person can change the course of the future. And it's so true, right? I mean, no matter what struggle you may have on your plate at this moment, just know that you are the hero of this story if you choose to be. You're far stronger and wiser than you give yourself credit for. Okay, my friend, on that note, I am going to wrap this up. Just remember that you are amazing. I believe in you, and I am here for you if you need me. Until next time.